I thought that flag was going to be on there forever. It's Monday, Eric. I'm a little horsey, maybe a little froggy, and you're here. You're going to carry me tonight. It's Monday night on West Virginia Live on the Voice of College Football. So lots to talk about. West Virginia's basketball team takes a big old dump. Oh, that's sad. West Virginia's football team lost their running back. We'll talk about that. Who's going to be playing for them for this last game? We're going to talk about what are the chances. So you say there's a chance. What's that from? Dumb and Dumber? So you say there's a chance.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that, and then all other things about the Big 12 and how much of it's rock, paper, scissors. You know, rock gets covered by paper, scissors cover or cut paper, and then scissors get smashed by rock. That is literally the Big 12. That's the Big 12.
Mm-hmm. So,
Eric, we were right. It's like the broken clock's right at least once a day, and we said Texas Tech is going to be top 5, and they're exactly there at number 5 coming into Motown. It's going to be a little bit chilly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the turnout's going to be?
I think it's going to be a good turnout. I'm still predicting right about 50.
Ooh, 50. Yeah, I think that would be about right. Now, the network has waved the magic wand and said, we're going to exercise the 6-day window. It did not work out the way I had said. I was totally wrong. I thought it'd be a 3:30 or 4 o'clock game. It is a big noon game. So, what do you think? We're just going to get straight to it. What do you think the chances of West Virginia, a little Mountaineer magic, upsetting the number 5 team in the country?
So you're telling me there's a chance. First of all, I like the noon kickoff. 3:30 would have been great, but being that it's going to be so cold, I think it's actually going to help with attendance. So that's good. It's going to work in our favor. I think that actually helps us with the game because you talk to anybody who plays against us, and a lot of times they'll tell you, the crowd involvement was really, it had a factor in the game. That being said, I think some of the players not being available that's really going to hurt us. I mean, that's been the story all year. Once I heard some of the stories coming out today, I don't give us much of a chance. I've shifted my hopes from, hey, we might have a chance to, okay, what do I want to see other than a win?
I would like to see a competitive game.
Yeah.
And I agree I'm going to put Tim's, so 10%. That's, I think I looked on ESPN and it was around like 4. So
yeah,
might change. I don't know. I think right now West Virginia needs a good showing to end the season. This is their bowl game. Now, Texas Tech could limp into the playoffs with. Okay, I'm going to go through everything, so just bear with me, chat. Okay, Texas Tech can take care of business against West Virginia and Morgantown. They clinch. That's it. Case closed. They're the boss. No rock, paper, scissors. Or they can lose to West Virginia if Arizona State loses on Friday night. So that's how Texas Tech clinches. Now, BYU can clinch with a win over UCF or an Arizona State loss. Or BYU loses to UCF, Texas Tech loses, and Arizona State wins, and Utah wins. That's really kind of convoluted. But Arizona State, Eric, can tie it up, but they can clinch it with a win over Arizona and Texas Tech loss and Utah loss and a BYU win. So there's all different kinds. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Or Arizona State can clinch If they win over Arizona, BYU lost, Utah lost. Utah clinches with a win over Kansas, Texas Tech lost, and ASU win, and BYU will win. So Texas Tech has a 65% chance of just sealing the deal, going to play in the championship. Now, takeaways. If West Virginia can play tough and keep it competitive, and they did last game, it was competitive. And West Virginia beats Texas Tech. How much value? I'm talking NAL dollars and cents. Is Scotty Fox going to extort West Virginia for?
Well, to me, this game, win, lose, or draw, we've got to keep Scotty. He has by far been our best quarterback, for the season. I'm hearing that a starting quarterback in the Big 12, you're talking about $1 million. I'm thinking that Scotty's not quite there, as far as a guaranteed starter. He's played tremendously well. There's value in him knowing our system, and to me, that's what makes him the most valuable. He can make the plays with his arm and his legs, and he knows our system. I'm looking somewhere between $750,000 to 800,000. That's what I'm thinking.
And I think Tim is spot on with. I'm gonna put it in the chat. He put it in the chat, but I'm put it on the screen. If he wins, you're gonna have to pay him that much money.
What?
I think it's
wow.
Over $1 million if he beats Texas Tech. Man, he's gonna be like that guy in the subway that played the saxophone. You just want to give him money.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. 1.5 to me. I'm not sure about that. Do we know what Nico got paid this year? Do we know?
I think it was 800.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's, if you're someone who's a solid starter, I'm hearing about $1 million. But yeah, we'll see. And you're right. I mean, he can come out and be lights out, because quite honestly, he has shown those flashes. I mean, set the record for true freshman here. And then he really did not have, normally when somebody comes out and they perform that well, it's normal to see like a dip in performance to like a return to the mean. He really hasn't, had that slump yet.
Now,
So it could happen.
Pretty stable and pretty solid. There was that interception, but I don't know if that was really his fault or 50-50 ball. I guess I don't know. Well, we are going to talk. Maybe it's a sore subject, and this is the college football. College football, okay? But we always talk a little bit, sprinkle in there a little bit of basketball. And after basically stroking ego of the basketball coach and program and saying how wonderful they are, Clemson came from behind with like 3 minutes left and beat them. And then the next day, they looked like or 2 days after that, a Sunday, they didn't look good at all. So, with that, I'm going to ask you a question, Eric. And guys, Eric does not know about these questions. You have Kellogg, Rich Rod, and Ross Hodge. Who's the best coach out of all of them?
Man, that's a good question.
Hot
so yeah, first of all, I'm gonna quote Rich. They asked Rich about, why are you so hard on your players? Maybe you should speak, talk them up a little bit. And he said, oh, don't ever pat them on the butt. They'll poop in your hand. So that we had it coming.
Is he reptiles or something? That's what happens when I've touched a snake.
So, man, I'm going to have to go with Kellogg. The guy has done a lot with that program. They have pulled up some tremendous upsets. I'm going to go.
I agree 100%.
Ah, cool. I'm going to go with Rich next, and I'm going to go with Hodge last, only because he's kind of broken our hearts. And so like the notion like that we played fantastic for 35 minutes against Clemson, and then those last 5 minutes absolutely killed us. Sometimes that happens. The other team figures something out, and it's too late in the game to change the flow. That happens in basketball, but for that hangover to last into the next game, and I think we only had like a handful, like literally, like less than five or less offensive rebounds against Xavier. And we did not shoot well, so that killed us. What do you
Well,
think, man?
I think hands down Kellogg. He stuck a boot into Kara Lawson's ass at Duke, and she's gonna be the 2025 USA America's Cups coach. Okay,
Oh yeah,
out coached, out hustled, out everything. Hate to say it, that was a master class in just basketball. Hey, my big foul trouble. Let's put a guard down there and just get after it. Yeah. So that's all we're going to talk about with basketball. But definitely, I have Kellogg, then Rich Rod, and then yeah, I have same issue. So I was surprised. I'm surprised. Yeah. After says that sounds like something I would say. Yeah. Okay, guys. So as I said, I am froggy as hell. So might have to take a drink here or there. Don't mind me. Eric is going to save the day today. So we talked about the Big 12 and how much of a hot mess it is. With that, other than Texas Tech, who's the next one? Who's the next Big 12 team you think is going to make some noise?
we talked about this before the show, and the Big 12 is always so competitive. There's always so much parity. It never, rarely does it ever come down to like, you know, less than it's determined like the last game, the last day, the last hour.
Yeah.
To me, we both called it, and you're right. I mean, you called Texas Tech. I thought they might lay an egg with that much talent, and how do you manage the talent and the egos? They have not stumbled at all. They have really come through, and like you had mentioned before, their coach is very disciplined. So I think he's handled the locker room extremely well. I'm still going with BYU. Um, you're looking at a very, how should I say? I don't want to say traditional, but they're not high risk. They are good at what they are good at. They manage the games well, and usually with that kind of approach, you don't have the huge heartbreaking losses. You don't go out and the highs aren't as high, the lows aren't as low, but you can count on you can count on your players. And Robertson he's still that receiver. Good Lord, he's tremendous. He's going to be playing on Sundays for sure.
Absolutely, and I think BYU is they they either how you take it. They win ugly or they win pretty. I mean, they just make it happen. People were criticizing them for letting Kansas State play them close. Come on, guys. When a team is down and out and you have a highly ranked team come in, you have an opportunity to play them. Everybody's up for you. When you're at the tippy top, it's very easy to get knocked down. You don't have anything to lose when your season's shit and you're not doing well. So, don't criticize BYU because they've won the games they need to win. They're gonna make it to the Big 12 championship, and I think they're gonna play Texas Tech. Now, who wins? I don't know. 50-50. I'm probably have to stick with Texas Tech.
I think that's a good call, and it's a good comment about Kansas State, that matchup. First of all, no disrespect to Kansas State. The difference between a team and a program, year in, year out, that's your program. The individual talent on a given team, a given year. This hasn't been Kansas State's best showing. Certainly hasn't been ours either. But that's a disciplined program, and so on any given day, they know what it takes to win ball games. That is a program that, quite honestly, was built on discipline. When Bill Snyder first showed up there, they needed a lot of work, and Bill built that program on on a long vision, and so they have carried that through. So yeah, The Hot Mess Express. I love it.
Afton is our correspondent out there, so she knows what's happening in the bread belt. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, she's now. When I went to K State and watched the game, I loved the stadium and the buildings around the stadium. They had like limestone. It kind of matched the facade. A lot of the buildings on campus. It was really beautiful. Anyways, that was a minute ago. So, wanted to ask you a couple more questions. We're going to cut it short tonight. Sorry, guys. I feel a little under the weather, but we're going to talk about who the hell is going to fill in for Hubbard. Hubbard is out. He's sidelined for the final game of the season for injury. Now, when Eric told me about this, I thought, uh-oh, he's pulling a DeVries. Like someone's sniffing around, wanting to sign him sign him to play ball next year. They're going to poach him. But Rich Rod confirmed it along with Eric. Thank you, Eric, for doing your due diligence. His season's done, and he's not going to dress for the game. But the Mountaineers have to rely on the legs and speed and hands of Sincere Bowers. So Sincere Bowers is going to take most of the snaps, while Curtis Jones is going to be the red zone monster, that short yardage, smash third down guy. But Hubbard has had a fantastic season, Eric. He's finished with 335 yards, and he was like fourth on the depth chart. So he also has 156 receiving yards. His best game was against number 22, Houston, where he had over 100 yards. And he's been really good this year, developed nicely. I hope they keep him next year. Eric, your thoughts?
You nailed it. There's one of the things we talked about is building into next year. Who do you make sure that you keep? Who are ones you try to look for your value players that maybe don't have to dedicate as much to, as far as resources, but you're going to have to build them up and work on them a little bit. Dior Hubbard is somebody that I think we would be foolish to let him slip between our fingers. He has done nothing but produce, and he has been. Not only did he produce when he first started playing, you saw that he's got some talent here. He's got some things he can do, but he wasn't quite making the runs. He wasn't making. There was just a slight. How should I say it? He needed just a little bit more speed. Needed to break that one tackle, and he got the message from Rich, and he delivered. So no, you definitely got to keep him. There's no question about it. Hopefully we can keep some of the others.
Well, Rich Rod, Eric, has been shopping, and he managed to land the 41st overall player in the JUCO ranks. So what position does this guy play? Well, it's Martavius Boswell, and he's a running back, 3-star guy. Third best tailback in the class of 2026 and at the JUCO level. So Monday afternoon, the news broke. So, this came last night. And Boswell, last I saw this morning, I'm like, what? Because what I saw most recently in the news is Boswell said, oh, West Virginia is one of my top 4 teams, along with Kansas State, Mississippi State, Tulsa. And Eric, we say this on the show a lot. When you're competing against Mississippi State, Kansas State, and Tulsa, well, not so much Tulsa, but Mississippi State and Kansas State.
That's good company. Yeah, that's really good company. It's one thing that you see programs that are good programs, but maybe they aren't at the same level. They're not part of a power conference, and that's good when we're winning out over those teams, and that's good. Because quite honestly, that is a way for somebody who has a lot of talent and wants to be featured and wants to be noted in this modern world of professional college football. That's a great way to get noticed. You can go to a smaller school and get lots of playing time. So that is enticing for them to go to a program like that. So when we're beating them, that's good. When we're competing with the likes of K-State, Mississippi State, that's really good. And we've won some battles with schools like that this year, and that's not to be overlooked, because this has not been a great year for us in terms of wins and losses, but Rich is definitely building the program.
Now, he did mention, he said he felt like home when he went to Morgantown. He said it was great. Overall, it was great. However, I did not. I know he canceled his Texas State visit.
Mm-hmm.
He still has a visit for today. I think he's going to be today or tomorrow. Tomorrow he's going to go Kansas State, and then I think he's supposed to go to the Egg Bowl. So we'll see if he cancels that. I think he's still going to take those trips, but they're going to be whining and dining him, trying to get him to flip. But so far, he's saying West Virginia is the spot, and he is a explosive, fast guy. Anyways, so that is the running back that they ended up landing. So there was a receiver, and it slips. His name slips me. I can't ever remember it. And
Kendrick Triplett,
Triplett, and
also known as Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah,
that guy's fast. Clocked at a 4.340. Are you kidding me? And that's, the more speed we can get into this office, of course, the better. And what program, isn't that true? But in Rich's offensive schemes, he's all about isolating offensive players, where if you can get them into open, territory, forget it. And that was the thing. I don't know if people remember, but when Steve Slayton showed up, they talked about him having that kind of speed. And everybody, oh, sure. No, you get that kind of speed and isolate in open field, there's gonna be some excitement. And especially if you get that kind of player, they draw a lot of attention. So maybe you got a guy who's not 4.3 speed. Maybe he's 4.4, 4.5. Heck, you can even be 4.6. If the defense is drawn to another guy and trying to focus in on him, now you can get those other guys some isolation that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten, and they can make plays.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's it's fantastic. I mean, they definitely have a lot of momentum going in 2026. So, they have. We talked last week about Arkansas, West Virginia flipping after Sam Pittman was shit canned. The guy's name is Caleb Gordon. He's a linebacker and nice looking player. So they now land running back Martavius Boswell. They call him Tay. I call my kid Nay, so that's kind of neat. Other JUCO additions are a wide receiver Keon Hutchins and, like you said, Kendrick Triplett. So that speed, they're getting a little deeper at wide receiver. They really need depth at running back and receiver. And then, not to mention, 4-star, sometimes 5-star Kevin Brown, depending on who you ask. And, the staff is focusing absolutely on offensive line depth and speed, and more speed sprinkled into these skill positions. So, with that, we have a big game this week against Texas Tech. And I would have to say, how big would it be for the program if West Virginia could eke out a win? Would it be bigger than Virginia Tech in 2003 when they were number 3?
There's no doubt. This team has been a team of potential, and it's been a team of shifting talent because we've had so many injuries. You don't know who's going to be the quarterback. Like you said, the quarterback and running back, we're playing guys who were, 4th string options, and they've delivered. And, my goodness, we played 5 quarterbacks this year, and there were rumors made either 5 or 6. I'm not sure, but in any case, we've been all over the place. Been trying to develop an identity. Had trouble with the O-line. If you can pull this off with as helter-skelter as the season has been, this really should be recognized as one of the best wins in program history. This would be a David and Goliath kind of win. Like you pointed out, a 5% chance of winning. I know we had a better percent chance than that against Virginia Tech. I know we did.
This would be up there with Neyland against Oklahoma in the early 80s. 84 Penn State, Virginia Tech. About Miami in 93. That's high. That's high praise, but it's up there. It would change the dynamic of your recruits and you get your foot in the door with a lot more high level guys. It seems like he's doing it already. But if you finish the season like that and show that you're competitive with guys that are fourth, fifth on your depth chart, and you sell that to a young man, say, hey, listen, this guy was fourth, fifth on our depth chart going into camp. He played. He contributed. He did well. We need you. We have a spot for you. You can play immediately. I'll let you compete. We're not going to mess around. We're going to get after it, and we're going to commit. And the NIL pocketbooks have opened up recently. And let's see what WVU Fan 13 said. 24.5-point underdogs with Dior Hubbard now listed out. But I hope you're right. This actually could be an ugly game. And the uglier, the better. Now, I don't want kids and gals and boys and girls and mamas and papas and whoever's in the stadium or outside the stadium. Don't be throwing batteries. Remember Pat Narduzzi was saying that? Like, I went to Walmart and I saw batteries for $25. I'm like, that's crazy. But no, seriously, we're not the fans of old. And talking about that.
Hey, can I make a special appeal?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to speak to the toddlers out there and the infants. Please don't be flipping off the quarterback. That's just brutal. They can't handle that kind of criticism. Thanks.
They're telling him he's number one. After that game, he sat down. But let's get to these chats, and then I'm going to talk about classless programs. There'll be the game. The O-line this year severely. The O-line play this year severely has exceeded my expectations. Tempered on side, still hoping for West Virginia win. Thank you, Ronald. So, BYU, who gave ice cream to everybody, like the Oprah of ice cream around the holidays. You get ice cream. You get ice cream. You get ice cream. Donated like 27,000 pounds of food for hungry or what do they call it? At-risk students for hunger at Cincinnati. So BYU said, hey, you guys look hungry, Cincinnati. Wes Nessman is flying around the chopper and they're throwing out frozen turkeys. That's an old reference, guys. You've got to look that up. It's funny. So WKRP and Cincinnati reference. But the students were basically giving the Mormons a hard time and just telling them they suck at the end of the game with chants. Totally classless, uncalled for. I am proud that the Mountaineers over the past 15 years have taken an upswing on just being classy fans. It started with LSU. When LSU came in, their fans were like, man, this was a good time. And you know what? You go to Baton Rouge, it's a good time. You're going to eat your face off, and you're going to have a good time. I'm just telling you. But LSU was the first team that came in here and said, yeah, you guys are fantastic. Treat us like royalty. And it's just got slowly better. I think our fans are among the classiest around. Some people will say, Pat Narduzzi, that it's the complete opposite. But I don't see babies throwing batteries or giving anybody the bird.
Shane, you're exactly right, and I know we're going to continue that trend. I remember the LSU game. I remember actually tailgating with some folks from LSU. Tremendous people. Of course, they didn't do much cooking. They picked stuff up. It's not their home territory, but good people. Same with folks from Auburn. Had a great time with folks from Auburn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think honestly, my hopes and expectations. Everybody knows this is year zero, and there's been enough, I think, awareness this year on not only the coaching carousel but the player carousel, and hearing a lot of that talk about players trying to figure out where they're going next year, that sort of thing. I hope players right now can focus on this game. So on the field from the team, I'd love to see that we compete, that we don't quit. Rich has done a great job in instilling the hard edge mentality with his guys, that no one has quit. And that's how we have turned at the point at which everybody was saying, we're not going to win another game. We're going to have 2 wins this year and that's it. And we've pulled out 2 more. So kudos to that coaching staff. I'd love to see everybody continue to compete. I'd love to see good sportsmanship. Of course, don't need to do anything, dumb, get, starting fights, anything like that. And then the environment that we showed, I think it was the TCU game at homecoming, where from a TV standpoint, that's as good as it gets. That was the only way that could have been better is we'd have pulled the upset and people could have heard country roads at the end of the game. So if we can do those things, I'm going to be happy with this, and that's going to help the program. It's going to really help everybody, and that's what we can all do, both players and fans.
100%. I agree 100%, Eric. And 2 weeks from now, Army Navy game. They have the 250th uniforms, which look pretty sharp. I've had the chance to go into that game when I was working at West Point as faculty and staff. What a environment. So we have that. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks because this is West Virginia channel, but we have a lot. West Virginia is 5 years ago, it was like number one. I don't know what it is now, but one of the top states per capita for veterans. So talk a little bit about that. And guys, Mountaineers this week might surprise some people. And I want to ask you, win or lose, what's going to happen? When does Rich Rod pull these guys in and kind of tell them where the bear shit's in the woods? Does he wait for some recruits to come in? Or does he just sit them down and say, hey, listen, this is what we're looking at for you for next year? Is he cutting sling load like soon? Or is he going to wait until maybe 2-3 weeks? Or because the buzzers are going to start circling? Because there are a handful of really good players. Now, Alabama's not going to be recruiting any of these guys. But your Miami of Ohio's are going to be asking, hey, what are you doing with this guy? James Madison. Those are the type of programs that are going to be trying to poach some of these quality players at West Virginia. Because guess what? 5-6 weeks ago, we're saying these guys aren't Power 4. But they've shown a little bit of, I hate to say it, hard edge. When do you think that timeline is for Rich Rod?
That's another great question, man. It's hard to tell kids before the season is over what your plans are for them because you don't know who you're going to confirm just yet. I'd say you probably have that meeting at the end of the season, and because the closing the closing of the transfer portal, I think you have enough cushion there to do that. You wait till the season's over and you do it then. Plus, you want to keep the kids focused. And again, I'm calling them kids. They're not kids. They're players now. You want to keep them focused because, quite honestly, you're helping them by keeping them focused. One way that players could hurt themselves at the end of the season, I don't care who you play for, if you start losing your focus, whatever team you may be interested in, playing for next year, they see that show up on film. That is not a good interview.
No, they're playing for good contracts, and that's good for them. I hope anybody who dressed for the Mountaineers this year continued success wherever their endeavors take them. But I'm going to take some cold medicine, go to bed early, and Eric, we're back here Thursday. But Thursday's Thanksgiving, so we won't have a Thursday show, guys. But we're going to cut some videos, put some out. So sorry, but you're going to catch us next Monday on the Voice of College Football at 9:00, and then our typical Thursday at what time do we do that? 8:00.
8:00.
Something like that. So, best wishes, pepperoni roll kisses to you and yours, and have a great Thanksgiving. Gobble gobble. And if you haven't looked up WKRP in Cincinnati, which was a show from the late 70s, early 80s, this guy threw out turkeys, and they did not fly. They just landed and crashed all over cars. So, Eric, anything for the chat?
As God is my witness, I thought they could fly. WKRP, look that quote up. Yeah, buddy, it's been great. I'm very thankful for getting to be a part of this show. It's been a great ride. Thank you. Very grateful for the folks who show up and make this a community. Looking forward to doing some more of it. Hopefully we can make a good showing of it on Saturday. And you know what? You told me there's a chance. So I don't care if it's 5%, 10%, there's a chance I'm going to be watching.
As I do my breath breath freshening spray as it goes sideways. Walking in our tuxedos. But Mountaineers out there, have a good one. Noon kickoff. And you can watch it pregame here on the Voice of College Football with Frank Fear and Greg Christ. Also, after the show, they're going to do a postgame. Hey, guys, take care. Tim, good seeing you again. Ronald, Afton, Fiona, everybody in the chat. Take care and have a good one. I'm going to set an outro video, which is, as always, the great state flag of West Virginia.